held in Israel after at least 45 people, including children, died in a crush at a religious festival. The country's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has declared Sunday a national day of mourning. The Queen has sent her condolences to Israel's president. Prosecutors in the US are asking for a judge to give former police officer Derek Chauvin a more severe penalty than state guidelines call for when he's sentenced in June for George Floyd's death. They filed court documents stating Mr. Floyd was particularly vulnerable and the police officer abused his authority. A government trial is continuing in Liverpool after around 3,000 people attended an event in a nightclub last night. Ticket holders don't have to socially distance or wear a mask, but do have to produce a negative coronavirus test. These people loved getting back to normality.
It feels surreal. It feels like, it feels like it's not been any time at all, and the rest feels like it's been forever.
Honestly, it feels amazing. I just wanted to be like this all the time.
It really didn't feel like we'd get this again. So being like this is, being undescribable.
The club will open again for another test event later today. The weather, many areas starting bright and chilly. Sunny spells continuing, but with showers breaking out for some. The odd heavy shower in the west. Highs of 13 Celsius. From Global's newsroom, I'm Holly Harris.
With Sky Broadband Superfast, you get minion-proof Wi-Fi around the home. Whether you're streaming on the sofa, gaming in the bedroom, or swiping in the bathroom.
Hey! Oh, get down the view!
I said swiping. Switch your home to minion-proof Wi-Fi with Sky Broadband Superfast. Sky, believe in better. Requires Sky Broadband Superfast. Sky Fibre areas only. Speeds vary by location. External factors may affect speed and coverage. See sky.com.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Andrew Castle.
7. Very good morning to you. How are you? Saturday the 1st of May. Pinch Punch, 1st of the month, White Rabbits and all that. Listen, great news if you were up in Liverpool. Some of the little chats there with people as they were about to be tested and going into that nightclub test event. Absolutely wonderful to see people out and about once again. All their movements monitored to see how safe it is to mix, and all of the measurements taken afterwards and analysed. So that was up in Liverpool. But if it's the first step towards getting back clubbing, getting back just going out, great news. We'll hear about how that went about 20 to 8 this morning. No plastic bags in co-op supermarkets fairly soon. We'll see what their plans actually are with the environment manager for the co-op a little bit later on. David Buick has got some business news as well. And the reason why I tell you all of this is because we're not just going to talk about this interminable nonsense from Whitehall about curtains, photo ops and all of that sort of stuff that we've seen this week. Now, I'm very torn on this story because I know it's important, but I think I know you don't think it is en masse. So I'll be very intrigued. Boris Johnson hasn't said anything. Money from the flat refurbishment. We've got some unsubstantiated allegations that he said something to someone sometime about bodies piling high. You'll have your own. I don't think anybody's going to have their dials shifted by anything anybody says with this from now on. And in actual fact, and in your life, which is what we're always trying to do here, or at least I hope I am, just having a conversation. Has this entered your life in any way, shape or form? Anything that happened with wallpaper, with flats? I mean, that stuff on James Dyson, I think is hugely discredited. In fact, the Beeb apologised for their coverage of it when James Dyson insisted that what the whole story was based on was the fact that he was a Tory supporter and had given money to the Conservative Party. That was refuted, and the Beeb apologised. terms of Tories and sleaze, that's going to be a message well received by those who are not Conservative supporters, isn't it? It's always a decent card to play against the Tories. So if you were advising Sir Keir Starmer, you'd say crack on, would you?
No, I'd say get on to subjects that really concern people, like COVID, like the economic recovery, like the cost of the Green Revolution, and all that sort of stuff. This is Westminster bubble stuff.
Okay, well, let's put it to the bit. Lord Liddy, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. Westminster Bubble Stuff, 0345 6060 973. How important is it? Dean in Swansea, I'll get to you. Dawn Foster, writer and broadcaster, good morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks. This is, I knew we would be talking about this, and it's the right story to be talking about, but I wonder how engaged people are. I mean, for the few people who are utterly engaged in Westminster and Whitehall and political shenanigans, that's fine, but people in their real lives are this, where do we stand?
I think most people probably don't care that much up until the point where Boris Johnson decides to start saying things like, John Lewis don't matter that much, etc. And that £30,000 isn't a huge amount of money. I think most of the general public don't realise that £30,000 is given to 10 Downing Street every year to redecorate. And I think that, Keir Starmer at that point needs to have a home. That's how much they're given. And, if that isn't enough for Boris Johnson to actually redesign the flat, then that needs to be have a home.
When did he say that John Lewis wasn't the right sort of look for him, or what did he exactly say about John Lewis?
Well, that was apparently leaked, and we know that the designers that they apparently wanted to use were very high-end designers, hence those being brought in. And so I think that's why Labour keep hammering that would over and over again.
So it is entirely political story. We don't know who said it when it was said. It was said apparently, and that Labour had to make a point against the Conservatives, to point the finger and say that look, they're wealthy, therefore they're to be despised. That's a pretty pathetic thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's also why politicians yesterday turned around to Boris Johnson and said, tell us exactly what you think of John Lewis. Boris Johnson turned around saying, I love John Lewis, big fan, very big fan, etc.
Yeah, lovely stuff. I mean, in all seriousness, people are sucking in air to Oh, yeah, we agreed too much, Dawn. We're supposed to ask you. Very, very interesting stuff, Dawn. Thank you very much indeed for being with us on LBC this morning. 03456060973. Do you have a strong opinion on this? If you're a political person, if you're engaged in this, I understand why you do. I'm just saying I don't think it will come through. Listen, the Tories like power. Boris has delivered power. They're not going to throw it to the wolves just yet, are they? We've got the local elections coming up, some big tests ahead. This is not the time for Tories to be ripping themselves apart. They'll probably think if they want to continue with being in power. The general election's absolutely ages away. Now, John Lewis is been sort of dragged in the middle of this. We ought to give them a chance this morning to say something, which we have reported in the Times. The John Lewis suggestion originated from a profile piece suggesting that Gary Simmons, had described the flat the couple inherited from Theresa May as a John Lewis furniture nightmare. Downing Street was so concerned about the risk of offending Middle England. An emissary contacted Dame Sharon White, the company's chief exec, to reassure her that the Prime Minister had no issues with John Lewis. So listen to this, right? When people are sucking in air and have had their industries destroyed, their children have mental health issues. We're not travelling. The economy is history. If you're in your 50s or your 20s, your job prospects are appalling. A lot of the world has gone into another recession, and we are talking about wallpaper. Good God. 7:16. Alex and Dean, you will be next to go through the papers after the news from Roy Harris.
The government has relaxed the rules for care home residents in England, allowing them to leave for low-risk visits without having to self-isolate for 14 days on their return. Ministers have delayed the announcement of the lists of green, amber and red destinations for foreign travel. And at least 15 people have been killed in a fire on a coronavirus ward in a hospital in Western India. The weather, a mix of sunny spells and showers across the UK, highs of 13 Celsius.
LBC Travel, I'm Katie Tyler in Wandsworth. The High Street is partially blocked southbound near Red Lion Square because of water main work taking place. And a lane is closed on the A14 eastbound near the Greenford roundabout for emergency repairs. On the trains, Euston Main Line station is shut all bank holiday weekend because of engineering works, and Southern have no service between Victoria and East Croydon. On the Underground, there's no service on the Hammersmith and City Line, and the Bakerloo Line has buses running instead of trains between Queen's Park and Harrow and Wealdstone.
This is LBC.
Winner. Can you hear it? That's a winner. And another one. That's the sound of sweet, sweet epic downtime. With a winner every second at PokerStars Casino, nothing ever sounded so good.
Join PokerStars Casino today and get 50 free spins on sign-up. Are you in?
New casino players only, valid on 7 slots, 7-day expiry. Data based on UK daily averages from September 2020 to February 2021. T's and C's apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Play responsibly.
If you've had a cough for 3 weeks or more and it isn't COVID-19, don't just ignore it. It could be a warning sign. A cough you just can't shake off could be a sign of cancer. It's probably nothing serious, but finding cancer early makes it more treatable. Just contact your GP practice. Your NHS is here to see you safely. Help us help you.
Right, you know what to do. Same deal as last year. Let's go for a take.
The Mayor of London and London Assembly elections are taking place on
Thursday.
Thursday. Got it.
Let's try that again from the top.
Understood. The Mayor of London and London Assembly elections are taking place on Thursday. Find out how you can take part at londonelects.org.uk. Have your say.
Great, that'll do nicely.
Yesterday, you weren't thinking about starting a business. You were thinking, I can't be the only person who makes birthday gifts for their dog. So today, you are thinking about starting a business, and you joined NatWest's free online business builder course to help you work out your target market and how to reach them. Then tomorrow, super excited, you get the name at Happy Birth Dog on Insta and start planning how to take your pooch-friendly prezzies global. Search NatWest Business Builder to sign up. NatWest. Tomorrow begins today.
You're probably not thinking of changing your cleaning contractor, but if we could offer your workplace a deep clean that eliminates 99.99% of viruses each month as standard, I bet you would. Well, now we do. surface protection contract from Ice Cleaning using electrostatic spray technology. It's helping businesses return to the workplace, from churches and council offices right up to West Ham United Football Club. For full details, visit ice-cleaning.com, the UK's cleaning experts.
This is LBC with Andrew Purcell. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
We're up to Windsor, that's where Colin is. Good morning to you, Colin.
Good morning, Andrew.
Morning, mate. Come on, tell me why I'm going to get all wound up about this story that doesn't seem to want to go away. This is Boris Johnson. It's the wallpaper.
An example.
Yeah, please.
£840 for one roll of wallpaper. That equates to 2 months of statutory sick pay. Now, if you don't care about that, there's something wrong somewhere.
Colin, say that again so that people can hear that again. What, I didn't hear your point.
One roll of wallpaper at £840.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of 2 months.
Right.
Statutory sick pay.
So nobody's allowed to put any. I mean, look, I'm not. It just sounds facetious, but you know, people. Listen, I understand that, mate. We wouldn't have. We wouldn't ever go. You know, but there would be no space exploration. There would be no defence spending. But there'd be. No, but if you're gonna. Well, no, but you know, what is it? What business is it of yours? What somebody spends their money on? Let me answer that question for you, Colin. It's none of your business.
I'll answer the question you asked me, Andrew. Don't answer it yourself. He gets £30,000 public money per year. Yeah, every year,
Yep.
£30,000.
Yep.
That's enough for anybody to decorate.
And let me. Okay, so listen. I understand the point you make, Colin. But actually, what what business is it of yours or mine? What he chooses to spend his money on?
Well, what's it his money to spend?
Well, now there, Colin, that's perfect. That's a perfect question. I don't know.
You're talking about, the government are wasting time, energy and effort into an inquiry which Boris can clear up today.
Yeah. So you think he's got something to hide?
Exactly. Why doesn't he say it?
Well, that's a
So we should care.
very good question. No, Colin, that's very, very, very good point. All the best, mate. Take care of yourself. Lisa, I'll be with you in just a second. We're just going to pop to East London now. 2 cases of the South African COVID variant have been found. This is the very latest news. We'll get it from James Goodison, LBC's reporter. He's at Ken Aston Square in Redbridge, where there is a testing facility. Hello, James.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning. We heard yesterday 2 cases of that South Africa variant you mentioned been found in this area, and the health department said that they are not linked with each other and there will be surge testing. That means around 13,000 people around here throughout the bank holiday weekend and for the next 2 weeks will be urged to get a PCR COVID test due to the presence of this variant. People over the age of 11 living or working in the areas around here will be encouraged to get it. Where exactly should you be getting it then? Well, people will be walking from door to door, but you can also go to different testing facilities like the one here at Ken Aston Square. It opens a little bit later this morning. It's quite a large sort of area, Andrew, with different wards involved, so I'm just going to go through them all. Parts of the IG1 postcode that includes Cranbrook, Valentines and Ilford Town, areas of the IG6 postcode covering Aldborough, Barkingside, Fairlop and Falwell, and then smaller areas of IG5 and IG7, including parts of Hainault, Chigwell, and that is all Redbridge Council saying. All of that, of course, concern over the South Africa variant. This isn't the first time we've seen surge testing in London. Places like Wandsworth and Lambeth last month had a similar process going through them. Concerns over this variant because it's thought it could be more contagious, but at the moment there is no evidence that it could cause more serious illness. But that started yesterday, and for the next 2 weeks residents can be expected to be contacted both by a letter and by people knocking on their doors to give them these tests.
All right, James, good. Is this because of what, 2 cases?
Yes, that's right. They found 2 cases in the area. Effectively, what happens is, just through normal COVID testing, whether you've been pinged by the app or you've had symptoms, etc., you'll do a PCR test. That's different from a lateral flow test because it has to go to a lab, and that's where you can see what kind of coronavirus it is and whether it is a variant, but they take this very seriously because, of course, we saw at the end of last year with the Kent variant, there wasn't sort of the same sort of practice in place, and that's now one of the largest types of coronavirus around the UK. But yes, it is strange to think about when you just hear that it's two to cause such a massive surge testing, but they want to make sure everybody's safe.
Of course. James Goodison, thank you very much indeed. LBC's reporter to Ken Aston Square in Redbridge. That's where James is this morning, 7:25. You're on LBC. Andrew Castle here. Lisa hasn't called before. She's in Brentwood in Essex. We're discussing the Boris Johnson, Keir Starmer wallpaper row. Who paid for what, when and how? Did he make the suggestion that, you know, he'd rather see bodies piled high than a third lockdown? Who said it? Who leaked it? When was it said? What was the context? Hello, Lisa. How are you? Hello, how are you?
Okay, thank you, Andrew.
Very
Good
nice.
morning.
Very nice to hear from you. So we're talking about what we've talked about all week. Do you care? How relevant is it in your life?
Well, let me start by saying how much someone spends on their home, nobody cares. No one cares how much wallpaper costs, how much you spend. But what people do care, and what the press hasn't really covered, is the fact that whilst they were choosing all these lavish furnishings, because people were dying, hospitals were cancelling operations, treatments were being cancelled, and all that was on the Prime Minister's mind, it would seem, is decorating his flat.
Well,
we have to get this into some perspective, surely.
I'm sure that there's been plenty of other things on his mind apart from decorating the flat.
Well, unfortunately, as a widow now,
Sorry.
it doesn't seem like it.
Right. So you think the priorities are all wrong? I think it's what we're talking about is wrong, and I think that's why I'm saying this morning it's a total Whitehall media political story, and I don't think when there's people in situations like yours, you give that much. We don't care that much about wallpaper. You think they're talking about the wrong stuff?
It's just, I think we need to get some perspective on the effect that this pandemic has had on everybody's lives. To discuss, you're doing photo shoots, to going to John Lewis and all of that, it's just absolute ridiculous.
I know.
There are, as you have said, there are far greater issues here.
Yep, there are.
You know, and the most important thing, I believe, was his